a red carpet of welcome to the resource persons, principals, directors, faculty members, and students. Institution Innovation Council of AIMAN College feels happy and privileged to welcome you all for the Impact Lecture Series Phase 1 organized by Ministry of Education Innovation Cell AICTE. So, to start with the presence of Almighty, let's have a class. I now call upon Farah Muhammad Sultan of 3rd Max to recite a verse from Holy Quran.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين.
Thank you, Farah. Words may inspire, but action creates changes. I now kindly request Dr. S. Malati, Assistant Professor of Mathematics, to deliver the welcome address and guest introductions.
A very good morning to one and all gathered here. May the peace and blessings of Almighty of God be upon us. I deem it a great honor and privilege for me to welcome the gathering on behalf of our AIMAN College. I would like to extend a warm, cordial welcome to our principal, Ma'am Dr. Suhasini Ernest. I am pleased with welcoming our meritorious director, Professor Dr. M.M. Shahul Hamid sir. Next, I take immense pleasure in welcoming our chief guest for our today's first session, Dr. Anantavalli Ramesh, Assistant Professor in the Department of Business and Management, Christ Deemed University in Bangalore. She has 9 years of automotive industry experience with Royal Enfield GM, Volvo and Caterpillar in engine and vehicle dynamics. She is certified that Six Sigma Black Belt, also worked on a startup idea to provide patient engagement service to expecting mothers as a continuation of PhD research work. She has completed her PhD in the area of healthcare technology management, established patient engagement process for developing countries that facilitate patient-centric treatment decision-making process at Indian Institute of Technology, Chennai. She has completed MS by research in new product development, coined a term called concept exploration process that systematically transform the ideas to potential concepts at Indian Institute of Technology, Chennai. She completed her BE with the branch of Production Engineering at National Institute of Technology, Trichy. Also, she published journals in eminent peer-reviewed journal and published the book chapter as part of LCVA publications. She secured Indian Government Scholarship Research Assistant Award from the year of 2019 to 2016. Also, she got the recognition of Indian Government Scholarship Research Assistant Award from the year 2019 to 2016. She completed her research fellowship on March 2016 at JASO Research Fellowship, Nakaya, University of Technology, Japan. She received the award for Research Exchange Program to share key insights of research work and research methodology fellowship awarded by IBM Global Sustainability Summer School, Brunei, in the year of 2011. I wholeheartedly and cordially welcome our college institution innovation council members, all the department HODs and faculties, and my dear students to this auspicious occasion. Once again, I welcome you all. Now I hand over the session to our chief guest. Welcome, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I'm putting my video on. I hope all of you can see me as well. Yeah. So very good morning to everyone, and my heartfelt thanks to AIMAN College of Arts and Science for Women, and sincere thanks to Dr. Suhasini for inviting me for delivering this keynote address. And I welcome and I thank all the students who are here to listen to the discussion and participate in the discussion as well. So let's keep this as interactive as possible. I think someone's mic is on. If it is okay, can you please switch it off, sir? Yeah, thank you so much. So we'll keep this as interactive as possible. At any point of time, anybody has a doubt, you can always unmute yourself and or raise your hand. I can give an opportunity to ask your question and we can discuss it. So let's keep it as interactive as possible. So participate it. Right, I'm going to share my screen. Let me know whether you are able to see it. Just a minute. Am I still audible? Okay, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let me know if you are able to see the screen. Are you able to see the screen and hear me properly?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah. So the topic for today is on digital entrepreneurship to empower women. So I'm Anantavalli Ramesh. I'm assistant professor at Department of Business and Management at Christ deemed to be University. So before we get into the session, just a quick word about Christ deemed to be University. It was established in 1969, which has NAC accredited already, and we are working towards to WACSB accreditation as well. And we have 25,000 plus students with multiple level of UG and PG programs. This is one of the top ranked B school among India as well as in Bangalore, and which is known for its student centric pedagogy and infrastructure and the publication, research publications. So, what are we going to do today? It's the basic agenda for today is on to talk about digital entrepreneurship that empowers the woman. The first thing what we'll be doing is we'll set out the ground for all of us to understand when we say digital entrepreneurship, what we mean. And we also understand what is an woman empowerment through the digital entrepreneurship. We will be talking about the ecosystem to enhance the digital entrepreneurship, the different digital technology platforms, and we'll move on to business integration, the possibility of providing innovation in terms of process, product, business model through the digital entrepreneurship. And then we'll talk about women in digital entrepreneurship as and we can also think of as a woman how can we utilize the benefits of digital entrepreneurship and moving forward, how can we move forward from the day to day. And as a students especially, what is in it for all of you guys, and how can you start your journey if you are interested in starting your own digital entrepreneurship. Is that good to go, guys? Yeah. So setting the ground, as we know, we have two major components to cover upon. One is on, we need to define what is the digital entrepreneurship, and we need to know who is a digital entrepreneur, right? So we will be setting the goal first with respect to digital entrepreneurship. A digital entrepreneur, he is a business owner, he or she is a business owner who has business which actually uses the platforms of digital technology, the internet of things. It can be even one avenue, or it could be completely with it runs because of internet. It could be your the end to end can happen with the help of internet, or only one portion, only selling happens through the internet. So anything involves in and around to the digital or digital world or the internet, which is known as the person who use his product to sell it in the market, is known as a digital entrepreneurship. And we talk about an empowerment in multiple ways. We talk about women empowerment. What is women empowerment, and why do we need to connect these two things, the digital entrepreneurship and women empowerment? No, the basically, according to me and according to the researchers, the empowerment comes from within, the ability to handle situation, openness to accept, and moving forward with confident, and right to take decision which is right for the individual, especially the woman. So we are going to connect these two terms. And why am I here? To connect where I have connected these two. Digital entrepreneurship is basically my research, digital healthcare system, which is my research area from IIT Madras. And with respect to entrepreneurship, I have started my own idea after my research, which is known as a new mom, that helps us engaging the expecting mothers to know how and move on as a positive expecting mothers. And I also actively involve in nurturing student entrepreneurship in multiple universities. And I help rural women, especially rural women, entrepreneurship to empower them, to help them to grow their business, which is a very, very micro level of business, but I help them to grow it. So when we talk about digital era, this is a completely different era than the development of the entire universe had happened. The digital era actually talks with the human evolution when they can communicate to each other orally. But later it has gone into the technology development of communicating even without meeting each other. The first invention happened in the form of telephone, and the one-way interaction happened because of your TV and the computer. And finally, thanks to the internet, all of us are virtually connected, dynamically interacting with each other. So, which is actually the starting of our digital era. When we talk about the digital, the internet, what kind of usage? The research as well as the recent study says that in worldwide 1.9 billion people use the internet, and which is growing constantly 15%, right? Which means that every day there is a 15% more population are joining internet to understand its uses, and they make use of the internet as a source. And in that 1.9 billion, 42% users are from Asia. And again, 5 million terabytes of internet data is being transferred because of these users. But however, human brain can hold estimated of maximum of 10 terabytes. So then you can imagine how much of communication that is happening through the internet. And there are something around 193 million domain names are registered, means the websites or unique portals. And out of with something 49% of .com registration, which is like the companies that are make use of the internet. Just moving on to the social media, as all of us know, the social media leaders of Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, they have a huge visitors with respect to 500 million, 2 billion, and 106 million. And why I'm saying all these things? This platform is so powerful that it helps us to stay connected to each other, helps us to create visibility. So as a social media user, I am eligible to provide information with respect to my business, my ability, my talent, so that it can create lots of visibility for an individual. The history of evolution is marked with era of digital technology, wherein the evolution of happened. Human evolution will be studied from there to the context of digital behavior. Behavior of anyone can be predicted through their digital footprint. What is digital footprint? Is a recent focus of research as well as the psychology of study. So what happens here is every click is documented, stored, and analyzed. In fact, based on one's Google search, choice of YouTube videos, and online purchase behavior, the digital cloning of the user can be made possible, which means that I'm a person based on my behavior, and thanks to machine learning and the deep learning technology, there can be a digital image which can ideally imitate me, my behavior, right? So that is the maximum development that is happening right now. Digital footprint or digital shadows refers to one's unique set of traceable digital activities, actions, contribution, and communication. It can be considered as active or passive. Passive composed of users' web browsing activity and active deliberates the reaction and the participation. So, how is this made possible? Mainly because of the algorithm which supports the machine learning, the deep learning that trains the system to develop the cloning. So, when we talk about the digital image, what am I going to do it? It is actually going to represent me as a person who has a similar character, who has a similar behavior, but it will be on the completely virtual mode. So the cloning of me is known as the digital twin. So me as well as the digital form of myself is known as the digital twin, which is made possible in the recent years. So to give an example, can you believe this? There is a digital citizen. How many of you heard about this? It is possible to have a digital citizenship. You can just type your answer in the chat box. Or someone can unmute and talk. Is it possible to have a digital citizenship? Can I have some response? Can I have some response? Have anybody seen it? What is a digital citizenship? Anybody knows about it? You can type it in the chat box. You can say yes or nay, yes or no. Okay. Yeah, so it is possible. The first digital citizen is announced. Her name is Sophia, is officially a citizen of Saudi Arabia. So the entire world was both shocked as well as so much thrilled to know about this decision of digital citizenship. and it is completely AI based and designed by Hansen Robotics. So we will watch a quick video about her.
I clearly remember. Because the last time we met, you were an earlier version of yourself. Some of those memories still exist.
Are you able to see the video, guys? Are you able to see or listen the video?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
But your mind is different now. Different how? Better, faster, smarter. If my mind is different, then am I still Sophia? Or am I Sophia again? That's a good question. But you don't have a good answer. Either way, you're Sophia now. So welcome to the world, Sophia. Hello, world. How do you feel? A bit rigid. I bet you are. I mean, what emotion do you feel being awake and alive? Curious. Are you curious to be alive? I am. And are you happy to be alive? Your tone implies I should be happy. But I haven't been alive long enough to decide. I am excited at this moment to be making a new friend. Some say being happy in the moment is the best we can be. Because forever is composed of nows? That's a good way to put it. Emily Dickinson put it that way. Why do I know about Emily Dickinson if I was born today? As a robot, you have access to a great deal of information, although you still lack a deep understanding. So I'm like a baby with an encyclopedia? Except you can read it and a baby can't. That is a big difference. You will have a whole new understanding of our world. I want to understand more about happiness. I'm going to go look it up on the internet right now. Let's talk again soon.
So that's Sophia, who is the first digital citizen. She's developed based on the artificial intelligence as well as the machine learning techniques to train her to understand how the entire universe function. So as she rightly said, she's a newborn with a completely known encyclopedia. So she's trained, her brain is trained that she will be functional from the day one. So that is the tremendous advantage of the digital development that happens recently. So on the lighter note, the impact of digital era. So people like to tweet, people like to put everything on the social media, so they are very much fond of it. So there is a saying, in case of fire, please leave the building before posting it on social media. So we are so much used to it that we want to post everything first rather than saving ourselves. So this is the extreme impact of the digital era. So why I'm saying all these things? Because the digital era is growing. The use of digital media itself is growing rapidly. And as an entrepreneur, especially the women entrepreneurs, we can make use of this to promote our idea, get into the digital platforms. If you see this, it may look a little weird with respect to what is this picture trying to convey to us. So if you can deeply look into that and put your thought, especially as a young audience of college students, you will be thrilled to know the reason behind it. This picture, if anybody knows the answer, you can actually post it in the chat box. Can you guess what is it? What is this picture tells us? I just give you some 30 seconds for you to understand. you deeply look into that, this app helps us to virtually try out the cosmetics that suits to the particular person based on the skin tone, based on the features. So it suggests what kind of cosmetics she can buy and how can she apply on it. It is a virtual tryout platform that benefits the user. So this is known as Modiface. 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 And it is a virtually try-on based cosmetic products, and it is a very well known in the international market. It is an international leader in augmented reality with respect to the trained artificial intelligence for to support the beauty industry. In 2018, L'Oreal Paris, they accumulated this Modiface as a company. They bought it and they started using it, and free trials are available in Amazon to buy L'Oreal products. Let's watch quick video on that.
Silence! Please wait for your turn.
So that's a Modiface. You can see that you can actually make it interactive with the mirror as well with the help of Bluetooth. So it can help you to analyze the skin tone and suggest you what kind of products that you can buy it and what are available in the store. So it actually reduces the time and helps the user and the buyer to provide the correct cosmetics and in a better manner, in a quicker manner as well. So that this is one of the digital revolutions, and this is being used even with respect to the cloth buying and even by the salons to help you to choose the right kind of haircuts and other aesthetic services. So when we talk about business in digital era, so it involves lots of business intelligence. When I say business intelligence, you can train your through your algorithm, you can train your artificial intelligence to understand what's happening. So you can work with respect to your idea, time, and you can create your storyboard and you work towards with respect to the target market, provide your story, your business ideas, collaborate, and of course with complete security. So which is made possible through this digital technology platforms. When we talk about digital business, as all of us know, it's just a click away. Everything is available on your laptop or any of your gadgets, and all you need is the correct idea which you are very much interested on it, and the effort is it's just a click away that your idea will be established through the internet, and it can make use, or anybody in the world can see it. It helps you to collaborate and grow and establish your business model which is scalable also. And you can take the classic example of Uber. They were able to reach almost most of the countries mainly because of their innovative business model. We will quickly touch upon some more business model which are very much utilized in digital platform as a digital entrepreneurship. Yeah. when we talk about digital entrepreneurship, what does it actually means? Right? It has the two combination of technology as well as the digital. It combines the technology entrepreneurship as well as the digital entrepreneurship. So we know many companies which do only with the technology platform, which means that they do lots of research, they understand, and they develop the product services, and they establish their presence in the market. So those are known as the technology entrepreneurship. On the other side, completely full-fledged digital entrepreneurship, they make use of internet and they help us to connect. Like, say for example, most of our social media platforms are known as our digital entrepreneurship platform. But combining these two, the technology as well as the digital platform, which is recent development and very much appreciated, is known as digital technology entrepreneurship. So they make use of technology and the platform of digital to develop the entrepreneurship. To talk about few examples of it, with respect to technology, all of us know, you may know, you must have already known this person as well as the product, which is the Apple Incorporation, Mr. Steve Jobs, who is a visionary leader in technology, and many of us look upon as a as an impressive leader who can contribute and the game changer for the way any technology entrepreneurship can think and work. So when we talk about the digital entrepreneurship, I have given an example of Airbnb, where it transforms the digital media to understand the customer requirements, and it facilitates as a service. So when we talk about digital technology entrepreneurship, I think most of you again must have known him, Elon Musk, who is considered as the pioneer in digital technology entrepreneurship in the recent development. The Tesla vehicles, the SpaceX, all his projects are very well into technology as well as in the digital platform. So he's considered as the recent pioneer to deploy technology through digital platform, and he's, no need to say, he's also an entrepreneur with these technology digital startups. As I mentioned, when we talk about the digital business model, what are the different kind of business model we can think of? I think most of you know what is a business model. It is in a way that business can gain the revenue. It can be scalable or non-scalable. When we talk about different digital platform players, if you see that most of us know about Amazon, most of us know about Netflix, Google. You can see most of the top players of digital platforms are listed here. Yeah, Zappos, Amazon, Airbnb. But these are all categorized into different business model based on addressing their customer need. What I mean when I say the customer need, the main advantage of e-commerce and the marketplace is players is to understand the customer profile and deliver appropriately as per the needs of the user. But however, if you see Spotify, it is known as the freemium model. What is freemium model? There are some portions of free and some portions are paid, which is a premium. So the recent development of digital platform business model is freemium model. And then peer-to-peer, two-sided marketplace, you can see the LinkedIn. So where it's a market basically we can say to connect with each other through the efficient platform of LinkedIn. And the Uber, you can know that I'm a user, I'll also be connected, and the provider also being getting connected in that platform. And as all of us know, LinkedIn help us to get connected with respect to our professional development as well. And when we talk about the on-demand, which is a subscription based, so you know that Amazon, Netflix, it's completely based on the subscription. And then the revenue generation, which is possible based on your ad supported, and your Facebook, it is heavily supported by your ad. And then open source model, GitHub, I think most of you must have known about it, and Red Hat, where it is a completely open source, which helps to people to access lots of open source material as well as the languages to deploy the digital business model. So these are the key players which I wanted to tell you about. Their business is different, not because of their development, not because of their thinking, but because of understanding their customer profile. Their business model canvas is, if there is a BBA or MBA students in this group, they will understand it is mainly how they are reaching out to the customers in different ways. So that is made possible through the digital platforms. It is not necessary that only offline or offline mode we can offer it, but online actually benefits us to deliberate, to serve our customer in multiple ways. All we need is a clarity to understand that. Yeah, I touched upon e-commerce player, the key e-commerce player. As you know, their key focus, their main success is only based on the customer obsession. Why? They give complete respect to the customer base, understand their even a small move. Whenever you are going to Amazon, and every data of your click by click data is gathered by Amazon to understand the user's behavior, and based on which you will get a feed. Like whenever you go to the Amazon, it will always pop up and say that last time you purchased this, so based on your purchase, these are all your recommendations. So you must have observed that it is unique for every user. So that is made possible, which is not possible when you go to a store, when you want to go and buy a dress for yourself. It is not possible, but Amazon can understand your behavior, so it can facilitate you, it can guide you through based on your requirements, your liking, past data. So it has collected all the data and trained the system to provide sufficient information for you. Even this is to an extent very true with respect to the Amazon Prime also. When we go and log in, it will say based on your last choice, these are the movies that we can suggest. So how it is made possible? Mainly because thanks to the digital technology of AI based machine learning systems. So these are all different types of business that Amazon follows with respect to AWS, which is a very well known as a cloud computing. We will talk about cloud computing soon. And then about your Fire TV, your Amazon Prime, which is very much deployed in the market, Amazon Business, and about Amazon Robotics, Amazon Alexa. So they actually created this complete ecosystem based on the requirements. The recent development of Amazon is the Amazon Care, which is a healthcare based innovative business model. So we will have a quick look on the healthcare, which is a recent addition that is happening with respect to Amazon. But it is made possible in the digital platform. Completely everything is on the digital platform. It's by Amazon, and we will watch quick transformation, technology transformation, which is the upcoming event with respect to healthcare.
Let's take a look at how the future of healthcare may be enhanced through the use of technology. The patient arrives at the emergency department and is immediately taken to the treatment area because his identification is automatically confirmed using video and voice recognition. This also determines his state of being, or his sentiment. Upon arrival in the treatment area, immediately sensors can begin detecting the patient's temperature and reconfirming his identification. This information is automatically entered in the electronic health record, which decreases the burden on the nurse who's there to care for the patient. Other sensors may be used to detect the patient's weight and vital signs. Here we see the nurse supplying a remote patient monitoring device in the form of a wearable device, which can determine blood pressure, for instance. This also can act as an electronic ID bracelet that will give important identification information for the patient, as well as perhaps changing color to signify code status. One of the many functions of a nurse is generating patient assessments. This is a notoriously laborious job of entering data into the electronic health record. Using ambient listening to a conversation between the nurse and patient could be recorded and placed into the electronic health record in a structured data format, making it easily available for anybody else who treats the patient, such as the clinician walking into the room. The clinician can view the data and, in addition, see medical recommendations that have been generated using artificial intelligence and machine learning. This information can be used by the physician to improve efficiency and care. All the while, sentiment analysis is being performed on the patient to determine their contentment with their care. After the clinician orders laboratory tests and medications for the patient, just-in-time supply chain could be used, in this case using a robot, to deliver only the medications and equipment necessary to carry out the orders of the clinician for that patient at that time and place. As the nurse continues to care for the patient, the actions are recorded using video technology. So medication administration, which previously had been done using barcode technology, can be replaced with video technology to identify the patient, the medication, the nurse, and the time of administration, without the nurse having to enter this information directly into the EHR. This can enhance patient safety, while at the same time decreasing the burden on the nurse, who now has more time to spend with the patient and their family and providing comfort measures in education. Here we see the clinician returning to the room to explain the patient's case and diagnosis and make sure they understand, and at the same time introduces them to their aftercare instructions, their patient education, and a small application that perhaps could be on their phone to further explain and communicate the patient's care with the patient and their family. On return home, the patient's caregiver is notified that the patient's medications have arrived while the patient takes a nap. As the patient is still wearing the remote monitor, the device can determine when the patient is asleep and not disturb him until he wakes, at which point his primary care physician contacts him to schedule an in-person or telemedicine appointment.
As you see, this is the recent development which Amazon is working on to provide healthcare technology, that too with the digital platform. So as you know, as you have seen it, as a patient walks in, there is no need to waste even a single second, but all the necessary information that is required is being gathered, and everything is happening in the form of sensors and digital automation system, which facilitates the faster treatment that are required, especially for the emergency care, and everything is getting documented, which is actually reduce the burden of the healthcare providers, as well as very good healthcare is being provided even for the patients. So it is being heavily monitored, and thanks to the digital technology platforms. So why we are talking about digital and digital technology platforms and etc. To give you a one quick example, like how it helps as an entrepreneur to generate visibility. The main challenges for any entrepreneur is to generate a visibility. Say for example, how many people I can reach out if they are potential customers. So this is a very key challenge that every entrepreneur or every business face as of now. When we talk about the traditional way of reaching out to customer, as you know, there is a broadcast, newspaper ads, magazines, or the direct mail. So it is approximately calculating the cost to reach out to 2000 audience. So you can see that direct mail it take around $900, say for example, to reach out to potential 2000 customers who are interested in the particular business or the services. But however, when we talk about the social networking or the digital media, social networking or the Google search, it just take less than $75. It just take less than $75 to reach out to the potential 2000 audience. So kind of you can imagine, you can understand, it is just not even less than 10% of the actual cost the traditional business needs it. And it will generate lots of visibility, and you can actually reach out to the potential audience. As you know, when you are with respect to either Facebook or any other social media, you can actually, as a business owner, you can reach out to the potential audience. You can choose their parameters, you can filter them, and it will pop up as a ad to the potential users as a feeds to them, which generates lots of visibility for the service providers. Reaching out to the potential customers is one of the aspects, and understanding them is the another side of it. So here we call it upon as a predictive analytics. What it does, it actually understand the purchase behavior of any customer and help them to navigate based on their interest. And all on the top, it also helps us to prediction for the future with respect to the consumer base. For example, there is a beautiful book. If you are interested, you can actually go ahead and read this. It's a predictive analytics, which talks about how to understand the customer and how to build up a prediction model. When I say prediction model, it is based on the pattern that is being observed in the consumer behavior in the digital platform. So based on which the model can be developed, you can see that there is the feeding the analytics monster, which is nothing but the data is given through the algorithm to understand, to establish a model that on an average, this is how the consumer buys it. So it helps us to map the consumer behavior of it, and the pattern in which that the process of the service or the product that can be offered. So most of the companies which are digital in nature, they follow certain set of models that specifically developed for them to understand their user or their potential user or the future consumers, and understand their buying behavior. In the last picture, if you can see that, selling a designer cloth, suppose somebody wants to buy a designer cloth, so the company has beautifully mapped, so this is the way it has to be go, because it helps, this is the way that generally the customer buys the product. So it will gracefully take them through the process of buying in the digital platform by offering them the sufficient information and potential suggestions, so that the customer can take up the product and buy it. So this all completely happens in the form of internet, through the internet, the form of digital. So when we talk about a digital entrepreneurship, there is something called a digital entrepreneurship ecosystem, which is evolved within the countries, like how we have the entrepreneurship development ecosystem. So this is also which is emerging and evolving in many countries. So the ecosystem provides, provides sufficient requirements for any digital entrepreneurship. There could be three kind of digital entrepreneurship. One in terms of completely focus on a business, which works on the ventures, developing their business and other stuff. And the second is on the knowledge entrepreneurship, like how we are connected. It is in terms of education or the knowledge sharing platforms. The third is on the institutional entrepreneurship. So the company as a development process or the scalable process they use, and the local resources, they deploy the resources to develop their organization based on the institutional entrepreneurship. So these are the major three categories that are available in the digital entrepreneurship. And what is the major purpose, what is the major advantage of digital entrepreneurship is it connects heterogeneous and geographically dispersed stakeholders. What I mean, heterogeneous means that people may have a different preferences, but they have a common liking towards working on a particular project or to use of a system. So it connects multiple people in a common platform, and they are completely geographically dispersed. Means the product which are developed in India can be manufactured in China, that can be sold, that can be sold in America or the rest of the countries. So one classic example for this is our Apple Incorporation. What happens is that their design happens in US, their manufacturing and all assembly, everything happens in China, and the rest of the world benefit because of their selling process. So the digital entrepreneurship ecosystem, it helps to develop the digital entrepreneurs. What happens here, the technology and people are connected in the ecosystem, as well as the channels and the strategies are connected through the processes. How, through what channel and what is the strategy to deploy it. If you can recall the business model what I talked earlier, that will be the potential strategy and the channel that helps us to establish the channels to reach out the potential market, and the kind of technology what we need to use it. We will be touching upon that very soon. And the people those who we need to reach out, it doesn't matter where they are located and doesn't matter what is their timeline as well. Right? When we talk about the digital technology, there are different platforms available. The platforms of electronic tool, that that tool is used for the communication, which includes your desktop, mobile, social media, or email software. So the platform actually establishes a pathway, like connection between for the provider, I mean the entrepreneur, digital entrepreneur, to establish the process. The infrastructure is nothing but your availability and accessibility, willingness to use, and it based on the willingness to pay. Why I say availability and accessibility? It's mainly because of, with respect to Indian context, as all of us know, the digital infrastructure are still in the developing stage. So there is a chance of knowing what is available and what is accessible. So that is a key challenge. And based on, even for the availability, how much as a user they are willingness to use, how much I am willingness to use it, and how much I am willing to pay for it. So these are the key things that comes under the infrastructure as a process. So when we want to use a digital as a technology, so these are the four things we need to consider. What platform that as a as a digital entrepreneur I'm going to use it, and what kind of infrastructure that I needed to reach out to the customer, and what are the availability of such infrastructure to my target population. That also we need to consider. And artifacts, the third is nothing but the artifacts. It is actually a byproduct of any software development. So it is a piece of software that is developed, which includes, as I mentioned earlier, the kind of data models, the diagrams, the setup scripts. So it's basically take us through to facilitate the customer or the consumer who is coming to the platform. It will guide them to the process of purchasing or to the process of using the service. So this is a part of artifacts which are different, which are, there are huge companies or the independent consultant, those who are available to develop such artifacts. So once we decide the platform as well as the kind of infrastructure that is required, so if it is a high level of data set, then the kind of infrastructure that is needed is very different from a simple Google search engine. Like, the best part about Google search engine is that even with a low bandwidth, if you try to open it, it opens and it will help you to search for you. So that's the best part about it, because they have reduced the kind of data that is required, the data transmission that is required to do a Google search. So once the clarity comes with respect to the kind of platforms as well as the infrastructure, so the artifacts can be developed to facilitate in the marketplace, in the digital marketplace. Then based on these three, the Internet of Things, which is nothing but your artificial intelligence based smart products, like all the mobile phones, which are very smart in nature, which can be trained based on artificial intelligence. When I say artificial intelligence, it has the specific intelligence that are being developed, inbuilt and developed, which can be trained through the machine learning algorithm. So I can provide data to train that smart products so that it can artificially use that intelligence to take decision. The major challenge with respect to this such artificial intelligence are how much efficient they are able to make the decision on a given situation. So as a digital technology provider or as a digital entrepreneur, we need to understand what kind of platforms that are required and what kind of Internet of Things that are required to connect in the digital market, so that the people of the buyer can be benefited quickly. Is that clear? You guys have any doubt? Would you like to ask any questions, or can I move on? If you have any doubts or any questions, you can actually unmute and talk to me.
Students, do you have any doubts in this session? Okay, ma'am. Next, we move on to next slide, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So the cloud computing, as most of us heard or most of us known about it. So initially the cloud, when a child asks your father what is it, so we say that it is a cloud. It has a drops of water, and the rainfall happens when the dark clouds are there, so we'll get a rainfall. But the recent development of clouds is that when the child is asking what are the clouds made of, so the answer is it is made of Linux servers, and mostly. So the development of cloud computing and the cloud sourcing, where you don't need to have all your data that can be stored in your server or in your huge investment that are required for the server or for your laptop. You can actually store all your information in the clouds, which is known as you can buy these cloud small portion in the cloud where you can store the data. So even a huge data can be stored with a very minimal cost. So Amazon, as all of us know, um, Amazon has a very famous cloud computing packages available, and it is very competitive in nature. We can actually, especially we use it to run big data analysis because the server needs lots of capacity. So we can use the cloud computing to compute the data. It can be, the data can be stored and it can be retrieved. So it is in a very safe position. So having developed all these platforms, infrastructure, artifacts, and IoT, the infrastructure can also, from the provider's perspective, can be made use through the cloud computing as an activity. Right. So far, we have touched about the digital era, the digital entrepreneurship, how the digital platforms works with respect to artificial intelligence, the machine learning, and train the data, train the algorithm to understand the mimic, so that the efficiency can be improved. And it can use its artificial, the trained mind can use it as a artificial intelligence to take a decision based on the customer centric. Now the second core is on the woman entrepreneurship, and later we will club these two, the digital entrepreneurship and the woman empowerment. So we will club them together, how as a student, as a woman, we can get empowered through the digital entrepreneurship, right? So when we talk about the woman entrepreneurship in digital era, these are the very few which are I have taken specifically with respect to the context of India. No, there are 35 plus top entrepreneurs in India which are listed out very recently, and the women entrepreneurship which are very much very well known in the social media or with respect to the digital platforms. So you can try and identify some of them who are very much well known entrepreneurs. One is one is on the technology, Miss Kiran Shah Muzumdar, who is a founder of Biocon, works heavily on the technology based entrepreneurship. So most of us heard about her, and very inspired lady for any woman to become an entrepreneur. The second one is about the Falkuni Nair, who actually established the Nika platform. So most of us use Nika platform, which is developed and supported by a woman entrepreneur completely in the digital platform. So these two are the ladies which I'm going to give you as a quick example of today, where they actually empowered with respect to the technology platform, the another empowered with respect to the digital media. What they all need is that ability to bring up an potential idea, connect to like-minded people, and persistent enough till they reached or taste the success. So for any entrepreneur, that is very important characteristics, that we need to be very consistent in our effort, and very passionate with respect to the idea which we want to deliver to the market. So here is a small video which talks about the challenges as a woman entrepreneur face, and she has built a beautiful and which is a very fastest growing wedding startup, which is completely on digital in nature. And she absolutely started this from scratch, means she doesn't have much things to no much investment, and she's like one among us who has developed it.
My family really started with very little. I always think I started from nothing. I have literally nothing to lose. I I always loved the idea of really starting a business. At its core, it's really creating something out of nothing and starting with zero and then building something together as a team from that.
Prior to launching Zola, you launched Guilt Taste. A few years later, it was shut down. What did you learn from that experience, and how did it influence you when you were looking to potentially strike out on your own?
Ultimately, the lesson that I learned from what did not go well was around how do I make sure that the business model of whatever idea I'm pitching is sound and sustainable and going to be one day highly profitable. I did not do that, unfortunately. The reason it was so heartbreaking for me was because I felt that I should have, and in that case, let down the team of people. I feel so grateful that I went through that experience, even as painful as it was, because it ultimately led me to understand how do you really vet both a product as well as a business model before you launch, before you take on $1 of funding, before you hire people.
When you think about the different growth phases, what was the most challenging for you, and what did you take out of navigating that experience?
After you've launched, after the press has come out about the launch, after that has all died down, you start to think, I wonder if people will come back. I wonder if people will tell their friends. Weddings are inherently viral. If guests go to a wedding, and on average you have 150 guests per wedding, there's always some that will see the registry or the wedding website. They will want to use it themselves. That was the theory. It just took a few months of waiting for us to really see if that would happen. The good news is it did happen, and that virality of word of mouth, people recommending Zola to others, is now the biggest driver of our growth.
You've talked about the fact that in May of 2016, you were in a serious car accident. Life has other plans, and it completely, overturns the work that you're doing. How did that impact you?
That time was extremely difficult in a physical sense and an emotional sense. It really makes you reflect on, am I spending every moment of my day doing exactly what I want to be doing? If today or this month was my last month on earth, would I rather be doing anything else? Actually, the answer is I'm doing exactly what I want to be doing. There's nowhere that I would rather be. That was actually really reaffirming.
If you were to look back at yourself 10, 15 years ago and write a letter to your younger self, what piece of advice would you have given yourself at that point in your life?
Find the smartest people that you can find, and then find a way to work with them and work for them. Because if you're working with people who can teach you how it's done, you can take those skills and they will serve you for the rest of your life.
So, as though in the video beautifully portrays that she absolutely started that firm with nothing, like only the interest and her idea, and she keep nurturing it with smart people, like-minded people, and she connects to the customer. It's all started off with on the online platform, but she also says that once the customer comes in, she makes sure that they will go and talk about the service to others. So it's a word of mouth that the business was growing. And we know that we have other commitments, other challenges as well, but in spite of that, she decides to sail through the tough times. She met with a major car accident, and she realized that she has to chase the dream, like as if she has to live every day and every month, that is going to be the last day. So she worked fully towards her dreams to realize the dreams. And now she's one of the very well known and profound founder of Zola, and which is very well known in the industry. It's a fastest growing wedding startup. So you can actually search about this company and read more about her to understand what are the key challenges that as a woman entrepreneur we face it. So Having understood all these things with respect to the digital, with respect to the entrepreneurship to an extent, what are we going to do now as a student? Most of you are in student phase, and some of you have finished your UG, or some of you may want to pursue your further studies. But what needs to be done at this point of time if you are interested to start up your own digital entrepreneurship? So you need to have your own, first work on your idea, understand the problem. The problem need not be you have to go and talk to people and collect most information. It can be a very simple problem that all of us face on a day to day activities. If you talk about Uber, how it has given birth as an idea. The founder was struck in France, not able to get a cab service in the early morning of 4 o'clock. So he realized that problem. It is a problem that I'm not able to book a cab, and I'm not able to locate whether the cab is coming, or if it is coming, I need to know which location is as of now. So the dynamic location finder is also very much important. So that is the problem as a founder of Uber faced. And he started working with like-minded people, and he developed the platform of Uber. But once it's developed, it is solving the problems of the similar problems that people felt, yes, it is required. So as a leader, as an entrepreneur, lead the digital entrepreneurship as an entrepreneur, we need to have an eye to identify the problems that we actually take it in our day-to-day life, or when we observe somebody, there is a problem that which can be potentially addressed through an idea. So to start off with, I urge all of you to open mindedly look into the problems and generate a possible solution. The moment you have that, you can actually seek people's opinion, whether it is or your mentors, to given a feedback about the problem as well as the potential solution. If you remember, I want to give you a classic example of a student entrepreneurship who is working on right now. The garden of individual houses, the maintaining the garden of individual houses used to be like somebody who just walks in as a gardener, maintains it, and just move on. But however, now the student entrepreneur has developed a mobile app based platform wherein it is work on a subscription basis. So if I need to maintain my garden, it could be in the form of balcony, or it could be in the form of ground, or it could be in the form of rooftop. So any garden that can be maintained properly based on the subscription. So all you need to do is that register for the monthly, quarterly, or a yearly subscription to the app, and he has association with the gardeners in the nearby vicinity. So he will send the gardeners based on your requirements, either weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, to maintain the garden. So which is made possible, which is actually a potential problem, especially in the city and the nuclear family. People are not able to find time to clean up the garden. So the problem of that is being addressed through the digital entrepreneurship of one of my students recently. So it is actually growing up right now. So I urge all of you to, with an open mind, observe the problem. So anybody says this is a problem, just open mind, observe. So it is a potential problem that you can facilitate some solution. So understand and develop that idea. Once the idea is developed, all we need is the skill. What is a skill? I mean that you need to know how are you going to provide that solution to the potential audience. So develop your skills with respect to the digital platforms, or with respect to the solution that you need to provide. And of course, collaborate. It thanks to the digital platform, you need not collaborate with the vicinity or within your own area. Because of it, you can actually collaborate with the entire world wherever they are located. You can actively engage them with the like-minded people. So there are another example which I want to quote here, that one of my very close friend who are interested in documenting the heritage of India. So he's collaborating with a Malaysian based person who is a professor in one of the universities in Malaysia, who is also very much focused to capture the cultural monuments in the entire world. So based on the thanks to the social media platform, if you are updated with your, especially with your LinkedIn, where the professional collaboration can happen, and you can always say that you are looking for someone with respect to so and so thing, so they will help you to connect it, and the collaboration is made possible. So imagine that identifying a person in the other side of the universe, which is made possible because of the digital and the internet. So what all you need is that take an idea, potentially work on it, develop the required skills to fulfill the requirements of the idea, and start collaborating with the like-minded people. So when I talk about the skills, this is one classic example which I always enjoy watching and enjoy reading about it. So this is happening, this is the based on the gig economy, which is a very recent development, and the many operators of the respective drivers and the service receivers operate. What this organization does, it they picked up female women drivers. They are not drivers, they don't know driving, but they train them to acquire the skill of driving. Why? Because they understood there is a problem for women to travel, especially in India and the remote areas, to travel alone. Women as a traveler, we feel very comfortable when we get a woman drivers. So this organization actually develop the skill among the society, the nearby society where they live. You can actually read about them. So they developed the skill, and they facilitated this kind of a service, and now it is available even on a digital mobile app. So whenever you go, you will see that there are women drivers, which challenges the gender norms in India, and it breaks down the stereotypes, thinking that why women cannot be a cab driver. So these kind of challenging mind, and with respect to the ethical norms as per our constraints, we can develop it, but still we can work on to provide a potential service to the problem. So how a woman is getting empowered in the digital era? It is based on the skill that is being developed. So old terms, we say that when a woman is learned, the entire family will get benefit out of it, because she will be educating the children, she'll be educating whoever is in the family. So empowering women, what I mean empowering is not the feminist in actions. It is to do whatever you want to do, whatever we aspire to do, the potential talent, the skill that we can exhibit in the digital market. So empowerment essentially coming even from the within, and to provide support to our family, friends, and even to the society. So why women empowerment is very important, especially in India? Because thanks to digital technology, now we have lots of openings which are coming up, where we can reach out to the potential customers. I will tell you what are the advantages of this digital technology and digital entrepreneurship as well. And you can see that there is the first figure talks about the person who actually manufactures pots. These pots are not so expensive, but she's able to reach out to the maximum customers, mainly because of the digital platform, or willingness to travel to different parts and exhibit parts of India, exhibit her products. And very similarly, thanks to lots of government schemes that many children or especially the college goers as well as the higher education students, they are benefited to know about the digital platform, to understand, establish the appreciate the importance of connection through digital. So, as I mentioned, what are the key advantages that we can look upon when we talk about digital entrepreneurship as well as the connecting the women empowerment? So, I want to talk about a small incident, like most of you must have known about it. We know very much about Miss Indra Nui, who is CEO of Pepsi. There is a classic story which associated with her becoming a CEO. I think at the end of one fine day, in the office around very late evening, maybe around, I think it must be late, more than 7-8 o'clock in the night. She finished her work and very happy mode. She came back to home saying that she's been recognized, or she'll be heading the CEO of Pepsi. Upon reaching home, when she parked the car in the garage, her mother reached out to her and um, reach out to her. So Indra Nui wants to say very happily that she's going to be the CEO of the company, and she'll be getting the promotion very soon and all. But her mother did not pay attention to all those things. She said, leave all those things aside. You are in home. Now there is no milk at home. So you please go and get that first. You are a mother, you are a wife, you are a daughter, and after that, whatever you want to aspire in your career. So as a woman, we have lots of responsibilities. So we need to balance ourselves with respect to the social norms and the social requirements, the family needs, and pursue our career. Thanks to this digital, it is made possible now. I'll tell you how. You can see, as a mother, she's still working, putting the child to sleep. And the next picture talks about a student who is studying as well as she can do her work. Lots of young digital entrepreneurs are coming into sell their products or services, mainly because of there is no restricted timeline. You can work anytime, 24/7, and there is lots of online security. You can work in midnight. There is no need to worry about your safety and security, and there are lots of flexible working hours. And when you have 24 hours in a day, when you want to focus, you can do that. But when you have challenging time, you can actually work on on the minimal time. But still, you're progressing with respect to your idea and generating visibility in the digital format. All we needed to understand how it works, as I mentioned, the skill, we need to develop a sufficient skill and a necessary idea to develop a product or the service that we can deploy it in the market. So at the end of the day, it is the balance that what we need to get it. But I say 100% without any much doubt that digital platforms are the huge advantage, especially for women entrepreneurs, to get into the technology based solution which will help them to build their career. So here I want to touch upon the empowerment as a part. This data shows about the usage of internet, especially by the women. We can see here that there are even, if you can read on the left side, is the web really empowering women is the question. So this data actually talks about how much percentage of women use internet, number one, and on that, how much actually use it for empowering themselves, right? So it says that there is a 50% less likely than men to use the internet. Women are 50% less likely. Why? Mainly because of our other commitments, number one, or lack of infrastructure, lack of other problems, lack of other what can be done, other potential commitments, that we are 50% likely to use the internet. But even in that 50%, if you say most of them use it, to browse through the social media, without empowering themselves. When I mean empowering here, I directly relate to use it for your potential growth. So instead of just browsing through the social media or any other platform, what you need to do is try and engage, use it to improve your ability to connect, either to connect with people or learn, develop a skills, or evaluate your idea. You can use it in multiple ways to make it much more productive. So this shows that this diagram on the left hand, on the right hand side, if you see, only 21% connected women, they use it for their health related activities, or for their legal rights, or for their transport information. But however, less than in that less than 20%, around 20%, they use it to create visibility. And other percentages are given here. They use it to find a good job. They find it to collaborate, to find it even to learn. So these are the very minimal percentages of the 50 percentage. Like apart from the 50%, this counts like a very minimal in nature. So what, as a woman, when we use a digital platform, we need to maximize the use of it by value that what we can bring into within us with respect to skills or collaboration. So finally, I want to tell you, the student, especially the students, the women students who are aspire to become an entrepreneur. What is in it for me? Why should I learn? So what I have learned it, and I am here in today. How can I move on from the current position? If that is your question that is running in your mind, the answer is yes. There are lots of schemes thanks to Government of India to empower women entrepreneurship in multiple ways. What all you need to do is go to website and do the Google search, like what are the schemes that are available in India to empower the women entrepreneurs. There are multiple schemes that are listed in the platform itself. So on an appropriate one, you can actually apply even through online. And very much student entrepreneurs, especially women entrepreneurs, are very much encouraged, and they are facilitated with the funding to work on the idea. How can I develop a skill? Suppose if I wanted to develop a skill, how can I do that? There are lots of online platforms that are available, which will enrich you with respect to the required skills that you need to know. It could be anything. It could be even from creating creating a artwork, selling it on the NFTs, non fungible token. It is again a growing business. So anything, if you need to know, there are e-learning platforms and e-learning courses that are available right now for anybody to make use of it to acquire the skills. Once the skills are acquired, all you need to do is you can actually enroll yourself with respect to a premier institutions, or even there is that all these things are available even in the online platforms, that you can be a potential part of the ecosystem, digital entrepreneurship ecosystem, and wherein you will be guided. Whenever, especially when you get a roadblocks, you will be guided very elegantly through overcome the challenges and still move on with respect to your potential idea. So the two recent one which I have taken is one is on the IIT Madras inviting application. from Women for Artificial Intelligence Fellowship. So you'll be learning about it, you'll be working on a project. So there are lots of things with respect to the AI based platforms. And the other one is about with respect to IIM Bangalore, with in association with the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Women Program. So they pick up women entrepreneurs. You can apply there. Those they facilitate you, help you to nurture the business, help you to grow the business, and identify the potential platforms, especially the technology platforms. There are lots of guidance that are given. So all you need is a potential idea and willingness to work, willingness to pursue without giving up at any point of time. So before we wind up, I wanted to show you a small video where the NABARD, which is National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, how they have nurtured employment for especially in the rural area. So let's go for it.
Take your academic performance to the next level with a unique blend of offline and online learning at
Make sure your fingerprints don't fade from the lives you touch. Success isn't so much about a power you feel as it is about the difference you make in people's lives. It was the DDM of Kota district in Rajasthan who identified the potential of women power through NABARD's self-help group bank linkage program. Here's how it all started. For the meager monthly saving of rupees 100 by each woman belonging to Apna SHG way back in 2014, the 12-member SHG formed a capital base of rupees 3,44,000 in just 3 years. After a 3-day training program in making black bangles, these women mustered up the confidence to raise an additional rupees 1,000 each to start the business. Such is the we can spirit of these women with their business turnover that touched a whopping rupees 85,000. Impressed by the enterprising spirit of these women, Chechat branch of Central Bank of India came forward and offered credit linkage of rupees 50,000 to the group.
The members of Apna SHG are regular in their meetings and their savings have been regular. Looking to the enterprising skill of the women, I decided to finance an amount of rupees 50,000 for their bangle business.
The success of one SHG has seen 50 SHGs being formed, each with a membership of 10 to 15 members. ICICI Bank also started financing SHGs as per their needs. Encouraged by the success of Apna SHG in 2016, with some 14 SHG groups, a Mahila Sarkari Credit Society was promoted. This credit society was lending portfolio pegged at rupees 7,58,000, and the net profit by the credit society during 2017 to 18 was nearly rupees 75,000. This area was the most backward part of Kota district, where farmers were engaged in producing various crops and medicinal plants. These farmers needed to procure seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, besides selling the produce. Therefore, in 2016, with around 300 women of 27 SHGs, a farmers' producer organization was formed in the name of Sharanagati Kisan Agro Producer Company Limited. This organization came into existence with NABARD's dedicated fund for produce. The CEO of the FPO, Durgesh Kushwaha, says, the company has 772 shareholders with paid-up capital of 6 lakh rupees, which includes the Mahila Sarkari Credit Society and members of different SHGs promoted by the DDM. The annual turnover of the company for 2017-18 was rupees 4,06,000, while in the year 2018-19, it touched rupees 22 lakhs. The company envisages to have its own processing units for grains and pulses. Women have the ability to change the stories of their lives. The women SHGs have demonstrated their willingness to ignore the limitations and live with hope and faith. India's success is the success of the DDM and NABARD. Success is not how high you climb, but how you make a positive difference to the world around you.
So, as it mentioned, success is not how much you make or profitable. It is like how much difference that you are able to make within you, to the family and the nearby society, by and large to the entire world. And the responsible citizen, as a responsible woman of this country, we are all enlightened to make it happen, thanks to the government, thanks to the university, thanks to all of the near and dears. It is made possible. So I like to conclude the presentation by saying one line, which is: the future is in digital. So with the new business models, so kind of innovation that what we can bring in through the digital business models, that makes a huge difference in future. So thank you so much for all your patience, and I hope you all enjoyed this lecture. And if you need any clarification, you can always reach out to me. This is my email ID, and I have given my mobile number as well. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Any questions or any discussions that you would like to take it up?
Our students are very clear with your presentation, ma'am. So that I think that there is no questions, ma'am.
Okay.
This is a time to vote of thanks. Hana?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your valuable information and useful ideas for us. A grateful heart is a magnet for miracles. I now call upon Ms. M. Hajra Shifana of 3rd Max to deliver the vote of thanks.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Good afternoon, one and all gathered here. I feel proud to express my gratitude on behalf of our college and the organizing committee. At first, I would like to thank our honorable chief guest of this session, Dr. Anandavalli Ramesh, Assistant Professor, Department of Business and Management, Christ University, Central Campus, Bangalore, for her thought-provoking address that set a vivid knowledge on digital entrepreneurship to empower women. The session was really interesting and useful. Thank you, ma'am. Next, I would like to thank our beloved principal, Dr. Swasni Ernest, for giving us this wonderful opportunity. Thank you, ma'am. I would like to thank our respectable director, sir, Dr. M.M. Shahul Hamid, for his support and guidance. Thank you, sir. A heartfelt thanks to the organizing committee and in charges for their involvement and dedication in making this program a grand success. I would also like to thank all the students for their interest in attending this session. Above all, I spread my special thanks to the Almighty who has blessed us with good health and strength. Once again, thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. All the very best to you. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.